that you get to talk to, and the feeling of how am I and Amy March alike? What about Little Women do you think audiences will find most relatable? Does Florence Pugh have siblings? I do have siblings. I am one of 4 and I'm the 3rd. So not quite like Amy. Midsummer was filmed in the outskirts of Budapest, so every day we would all get on a bus and drive for about 50 minutes to this very remote field, and you had to go down a dirt track road where everybody would be bumping in the van, and then you'd get out and there was this magical midsummer land that Ari and the film had created, and it was totally nuts. But yeah, it's a special field, and I told myself that I should come back one day and make happy memories there. What attracted me to the story of Little Women? I think any girl growing up is fascinated about a story about 4 different siblings all living under the same roof and loving and hating each other. Just like normal siblings do. And of course it's a classic, it's Little Women, and Greta Gerwig was directing, so I think all the reasons were there why I was attracted to the story. And of course I got to meet some of the most amazing women on this film. Yeah. What skills does an actor need? One of the biggest ones is that actors need to be able to listen. They need to be able to let other people have their voices heard. They also need to know when to speak up, and they need to be able to be open and scared and ready to create, I suppose. And you can't do that if you're standoffish or I suppose in any way selfish. So yeah, those are the skills, a few of them. There's probably many more, but I haven't got a notepad, so there you go. How to say Florence Pugh? You say it like that, Florence Pugh. It's like Hugh, but with a P. No, it's not Pugher, and no, it's not Pooh. I know it's tempting. What about Little Women do you think audiences will find most relatable? I think people will really appreciate the family's dynamic and the sisters' relationships, and the way that they talk and touch and love each other. That's something that I certainly appreciated when I was making it, and something that I loved watching when I watched the film. One of the hardest things about being an actor is that you're away a lot, and you're constantly living this traveling life, and you don't I mean, some actors are better at doing it than others, but I certainly feel like that my home life is definitely always on pause, because you always have to be somewhere else. So that's probably one of the hardest parts, but it's also a joy because I get to travel the world, so it's a bit of both. Okay. Where was Florence Pugh born? I was born in the JR in Oxford, 1996. How am I and Amy March alike? I'd say we're both quite stubborn. I'd say we both like bright colours and accessories. I don't think I'd ever burn my sibling's book, but I can get angry, just a little bit less than Amy. My best Eliza Scanlon story isn't one of us on set, but we ran away for a weekend together. It was very romantic, and we caught the plane and went to New York for 2 days, and we went to SNL, and we bought a bottle of wine and had a wonderful time together. And yeah, that's where we fell in love. My first reaction to the Midsommar script, I remember towards the last 10 pages of the script, every page that I turned, my jaw got lower and lower and lower. And I was, by the end, kind of baffled as to how anyone was going to be able to make that film, because it was just so rich. But yeah, I was as shocked as you can imagine. It's a pretty crazy story. The most challenging thing about Midsommar for me was that I was playing someone who was in such a difficult point in their life, and they were so heavy with grief and with pain, and I think that was something that I was aware was going to be difficult before I even started making it. So that was something that I thought was quite challenging, and it was, but it paid off. The skill that I've learned from a role was wrestling. When I did Fighting with My Family, I've always wrestled all of my siblings. We have that dynamic in my family. So when I got to learn how to do WWE wrestling, I came home and had all these moves up my sleeve and basically won the entire house over. And because of that, it means that when I do roles that are more active now, I'm so excited to learn how to do it, and I love learning from stunt people. I think they're fascinating. So wrestling and fighting. The best memento that I kept from one of my movies was the top that Danny Ardor from Midsummer gets given to wear when she's wearing the white blouse with her runic symbol, and the costume designer said that I was allowed to keep it. So I now keep it in my drawer just in case I need to freak anyone out. The best part about being an actor is the people that you meet, the places that you go, the creative minds that you get to talk to, and the feeling of respect from one another. Hopefully, if you all have the same vision of where a film is going, that's probably one of the most magical feelings. And creating that family for 2 months, you live with these people and you love these people, and then you all go back to the corners of the world. So I'd say, even though that's a sad part, it's one of the best things, is that the bond that you have with the people that you're making the film with.